I was born with a hole inside my soul, the size of God. And I could not fill that hole up. And I thought that I could fill it up with food, and so I created an eating disorder. And then I thought that I could fill it up by not eating. And so I started starving myself, and there was a high that I would get from starving myself. And then I thought, never knowing that this was a disorder, never, ever, ever knowing, I thought that I would watch the $1 Million movie, and I would see these actors on the $1 Million movie on Channel 9. I come from Hoboken, New Jersey, so we all see the same television when we were kids, and I would see these actors in black and white, and I would think, my gosh, isn't this a great medium? Those guys are dead, and they're still existing on there. And so if I became an actor, I would have evidence long after I was dust that I had existed, that I was here. Never thought to go to college and, you know, they could name a building after me. So I said, I'll become an actor, I'll become famous, I'll be able to have, you know, get women, I'll be able to be rich, and this feeling will go away. And so my journey began, and in my early, and I had to, you know, I had to overcome a lot of mental disabilities. Like I had a disease called dyslexia. We didn't even know what it was. I was born in '51, so they would just tell my wife, that's Freudian. My mother, oh shit. 3 months of therapy on this one. My mother, they would tell her that there was nothing wrong with Joey, he's just lazy. He doesn't want to do the work, and that's why he can't read, and that's why when he graduated from high school, he had a 3rd grade reading level. The only reason why I became able to read was I did the high school senior class play, and I memorized the audition part. My, you know, the 8-year-old sister read it to me and helped me to memorize it, and I pretended, when I went to audition for that part, I pretended that I was reading it off the page. And then the director asked me to read from another part, a part that I hadn't prepared. And I was embarrassed, and I was humiliated, and I could hear the kids laughing. And I had created this persona. I was a tough guy. I was a Nicky Newark. I dressed cool. I was the best dressed in high school, and I won that acknowledgement. And so that's who I was. And to have these kids laugh at me was really painful. But for the grace of God, the genius of the angels that have followed me my whole life and continue to nudge me, that teacher gave me the job. I can't even imagine what my life would have been if I didn't get hired. But she said, and another teacher said, you have an aptitude for this, and if you want to do it, you need to learn how to read. And that's when I started, you know, at 18 years old. When I was at my worst, and I wrote some of these things down today. You inspired me this morning when you talked about the texting and the emailing, and there's a generational divide between my younger friends and me. I'm a phone call guy. I talk. I can't write because I'm dyslexic, so to have to text something is really frustrating, and I'm only able to say maybe 20% of what I'd like to say because the anxiety that it produces to have to type all of those words, although my typing does improve. I have a friend that was so important to the destruction of my life. Because I really believe that I had to be destroyed emotionally, spiritually, in order for me to be reborn. And I have an awakening now. No Kidding Me Too is the hub. We want No Kidding Me Too to be the place where all of these organizations can come to, and that kids can go to, and high schools can go to, and colleges can go to, because colleges have to understand that a kid could be diseased and still stay in school. Because right now a kid feels if I go and I talk to my supervisor to say that I'm depressed and want to kill myself, they're going to send me home. So I can't tell them that. So I won't tell them that, and I continue to get worse, and I get worse, and I get worse. There is over $60 billion a year lost in lost productivity in the workplace in white-collar corporate America because of the shame and the stigma associated with mental dis-ease. And why is that? Why am I ridiculed and thought less of? You know, like, Jesus, I didn't know Joey Pants was crazy. Why would he be crazy? What has he got to be crazy about? If I had all his I'd be fine. The military. There are over 100 reported cases of post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's why I put George Patton in the movie. Because that boy who had been smacked by the general was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And because in our country, if you don't see it, if you're not limping, if you're not walking around in a prosthetic leg, if you're not bleeding from the eye, it doesn't exist.